Welcome to another bonus edition of Another Pathetic Podcast. And here we are with my brother Pat, who attended the game last night in Montreal against Carolina. He's now back here with me in Toronto, en route to the home base in Edmonton. I'm Michael, your co-host. We're going to be doing a game recap about the 5-2 Habs victory over Carolina last night. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to my brother who was there live.
I was there live, and it was also my first Canadiens game attending in the club section, in the Desjardins club section, which I can't say enough nice things about.
That's level 200,
That's
right?
level 200. I was in the first row of level 200. It's a great vantage point. And, you get a separate entrance to the building. That level is exclusive to people who are ticket holders there, so it's not as crowded, it's not as noisy. And of course, all the food and soft drinks are free. The only thing that you pay for is booze. It also has a coat check, which is wonderful because there's nothing worse than trying to put your coat on your seat or around your seat. It's a nightmare. So it was a very comfortable experience.
The unrelenting winter. It's not just Montreal for us, for the Montreal fans in the Montreal region and in Quebec. Believe me, I'm in Toronto. It is the worst winter I have had since living in Toronto since 1994. It's the worst. It is the worst winter, longest, most snow, very Montreal-like.
And it's minus double digits back in Edmonton. March is going out like a lion, but the unrelenting winter is kind of like every winter there is pretty much the same.
But speaking of our Habs,
yes,
they kind of came into the month of March a little bit lambish.
Yes.
And now they seem to be leaving, and there is the weekend still. There's a Saturday game.
Well, there's tomorrow's game.
Oh, yes.
Against Columbus, but yes.
Right. Oh, Columbus is a key game, and Saturday is against...
They're all key games until we clinch.
But anyhow, we could potentially... The Habs could potentially leave March like a lion.
They could. I'll be happy if they leave as a playoff team. That's what I want.
Well, the odds have jumped since the last time we spoke about that from 82% to 91.6 or something like that. So, by one website.
Which just means that if they blow it, it's an even more pathetic failure than it would have been otherwise. Last night, I basically just sat down and hunkered in there, and the Habs get scored on, and then a little later on they get scored again, and they just get caved on the shot clock. And I'm thinking, maybe buying tickets to this was a mistake. But before the end of the period, they managed to pop one on the 3 or 4 shots they had in that period. They managed.
It was on the third shot.
The third of 4 shots. They
got 4 shots. Yeah.
But Freddie Anderson is kind of like the Carolina version of Montembeault. And
I looked up the stats today, and he really is. His goals against is very high threes, like 3.71, and he's an .876 save percentage on 30 games. So. Which is then it makes it even more surprising that Carolina is the number 1 team in the East, at least for now.
Because they have another goalie that's a little better.
Yes, but still.
And last night, he actually, comparing him to Montembeault was disingenuous, because last night his stats at the end of the game were more like Stuart Skinner circa 2 years ago. I mean, he didn't even break 800. It was in the 700s, his save percentage last night, because the Canadiens only mustered 19 shots, but somehow popped 4 past him plus an empty netter. Whereas Dobesh, on the other hand, after giving up those 2 in the first period, went on to which were not weak goals. And, like I said, the team was being caved. In the first and third period, they were really caved, but especially the first period. But after he let in that second goal, he stopped the next 33 shots that he faced, and he stopped 2 breakaways, one on Taylor Hall and one, I think, on Stankoven.
Yes, definitely on Stankoven.
Absolutely clutch. And, he goalied them in a way that we haven't seen a Canadiens goalie do since
41
Price.
saves, right?
Yes,
Yeah, 41 out of
saves
43,
on
yeah.
43 shots. So what started out looking like a nightmare, they found a way. They bounced back. They got that one goal to make it 2-1 going into the second period. They they kept chipping away, and then of course Caufield, Mr. Every Night,
Yes.
got it's just a room service rebound off of Anderson right onto his stick with the hole open side. He doesn't miss from there, and
It was very wide open.
it was, and
it wasn't Evans.
no, although it was Evans' bobblehead night, so everybody got one of these nice bobbleheads, which is pretty cool. And he did end up scoring the empty netter late in the game. But, the usual suspects showed up. I mean, Suzuki, Caufield, Slavkovsky were their of late selves. And Ivan Demidov had perhaps his best game as a Hab.
Yes.
He
had two breakaways.
Yeah, he had
the
two
first
breaks.
one, he didn't score. The second one, he did.
But I mean, on both breakaways, he looked amazing.
Fantastic.
And then he had another sequence along the boards in the defensive zone where he just dipsy-doodled. He fell. He got up. They couldn't touch him. He kept pivoting, bobbing, weaving. And then finally in the third, he was rewarded on that breakaway. Beautiful where breakaway. He shaked, he baked, he made dessert, he set the table, he did the dishes, and put in the goal, showing that, this is why he went 5th overall. This is what Habs fans have been licking their chops about, thinking about, and he's starting to...
Yep. He'll only get better.
Yeah. As Hannibal Lecter said, he is evolving.
Yes. So I didn't watch the game live because I was at Gary Newman last night. So I watched the game on tape, as the
Live
old people say.
Tape, yes.
I taped it. I still say I taped it. And it was another weird game, and it's the 23rd come from behind victory for the Habs. So once again, now Carolina, we said they're the number 1 team in the East right now, although quite possibly the Sabres will overtake them.
Breathing down their neck.
That 1 point difference and I think a game in hand, but I can't remember. No, I think they both have the same number of games, 71
They're
games.
close. They're a lot closer than they were a month ago.
Yeah. And Carolina's 6-4 in their last 10, and
Buffalo's 8-1-1 or
8-1-1,
something like that.
8-1-1.
It's ridiculous.
So I think the Sabres will take over. We're right now comfortably in 3rd place.
Well, comfortable by 2 points.
I mean, if Boston's playing tonight
against Buffalo,
it would be great if Buffalo could continue winning because in regulation.
Yeah, because we're not going to catch Buffalo, no, I don't think.
God,
and
no.
If Boston loses in regulation, then we have 2 games in hand on them, and they're still 2 points back.
So what you're saying is it's going to be a 3-point game.
Well, yeah, probably. Probably. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say probably. The Bruins lost to the Leafs last night.
Yes.
So they're playing in Buffalo on the back-to-back.
That's because they know that if the Leafs stay high enough, they get
the pick. Well, the other thing is maybe they were looking ahead to tonight's game, which is far more difficult to I mean,
it's back-to-back. Who was in net last night? Was it
I didn't watch the game. I was at the other game, so I don't know. But I believe Stolarz played, even though...
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did play.
Leafs picked up 2 useless points, which is fine, but it helped us. And actually, pretty much all the teams that we needed to lose lost.
Yes.
So...
that rarely happens this year.
But it happened last night, so it was doubly good that the boys were able to pull it out and right the ship and pull out a win last night. And I mean, it wasn't a masterpiece. It's not the way you would want to win games, but the win is a win. No one cares. When you're in deep water, the object is to not drown. It doesn't matter how pretty the strokes are. So they're
Now I know the scoring, like there was still the number one line did the number one things, but what I did notice last night is Texier, even though he didn't score, he
Was
looked
decent.
really good.
Yeah.
Dobson, I didn't realize he hasn't scored since December. It's like 30 games.
Well, you know who hasn't scored lately is Hudson.
I know.
He's
No points last night.
no, not again. And
Although he looked good last night.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but I
But
mean, you got to remember he's playing with
Strudel.
Strudel, and he's playing on his offside. He's playing the right side instead of the left side where he's more natural. So he's not as visible. He's not
Yeah.
as impactful.
I think
It is
that,
what it is.
I think that it's so annoying because as long as they keep winning, Marty will not change the lineup. So
No.
first loss, he'll take Strudel out,
Put Jackeye
put
in.
Jackeye in.
Maybe take Texier out and put Veleno in or something like that. But
it'll be like rearranging chairs on the Titanic, deck chairs on the Titanic, as they say.
Mean, they need to upgrade their bottom three defensemen. It's a simple Carrier, Strudel, and Jackeye.
Carrier was fine last night. He's been much better
again,
lately.
I saw him go in there trying to hit someone on the boards, and he's the one that bounced off and ended up on his ass.
He does that every night. He's not. He's not.
He's the league's punching bag, I think, or ragdoll. But he got an assist, and so did Strudel, for that matter. But yeah, I mean, the Kapanen line was better last night. Kapanen himself scored. He looked good.
Yep. Newhook looked good.
And like I said, Demidov was possessed last night.
But they did give up a power play goal last night, right?
Yeah, and it was in the first period. So, the first goal, they took I noticed that, Anderson's back in the lineup.
Yeah.
And right after that, he took a penalty and they scored.
Here's the thing. So there's a couple of things. There's still, their power play is now 4th in the league, I think it said. That's one of my dogs barking. What can I do? And their penalty kill is still 27th. So this definitely is an issue. I don't know why they can't shut it down on the PK, and they.
It could be because the guy they send out there in every PK is number 45, who I don't think is very good overall. I mean,
true.
Last year he was all right.
And then there's no plus minus on
no, there isn't
the penalty kill, so you don't really see. There's probably I'm going to look that up, an advanced stat. There has to be one on that because I am curious to know. What kind of stats there are when he's on the ice on a penalty kill. So next episode is what I'm going to be looking at Sunday, our regular episode. I'm going to try and look that stat up. I'm going to try and dig down on Carrier. I don't really think, listen, if Carrier's on the team, that's fine. But they have to do something about the sixth.
It's fine if he's the 6th or 7th guy, but not when he's the 4th guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they can't pair him with Struble or Jackeye. Like it's not terrible. They need to let Hudson be on his right side. You got a guy
him cook.
Let him cook. Exactly. Like it's why are you handicapping basically one of your best players? Doesn't make any sense to me.
I'll tell you why it's happening now is because despite all this, they've been stringing some wins together.
True.
I mean, really, if you take away that, the Matheson gaff in Detroit, they would have won that game. They were, they were dominating the game. They just, they got goal lead, and then they made a critical error that cost them the game. But, over the last, they won all the games we went to, they looked good when they got the job done against Boston. They got the job done last night. They got the job done in a big way on Saturday.
Yeah. They got the job done last night, despite falling behind for the 23rd time.
So, by and large, lately they're cooking, and as long as they are, it doesn't really matter if Hudson is having a bit of a slump. I mean, he's a rook. He's only in his second year. He's still getting acclimated to an 82 game season, and there's going to be lapses, and there's going to be periods where he's shut down. It's simple as that. But
there has been no periods up until this point, though.
But the thing is, they're not losing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they went into a tailspin and he wasn't scoring, then it's like, well, we have to address this and get him going. But they're doing okay, even though he's in a bit of a rut right now. Let him sort it out, because like the guys you need to be hot are hot. Caufield now has 44 goals. Almost. I thought he had 45.
Yeah. It was Kapanen, right?
No, it was Slavkovsky that it tipped out. But he celebrated like he had scored it. Like Slavkovsky didn't want to let on that it went off him, because he said, I didn't want to ruin the celebration. But, Caufield will get his 50. Now that he's up at 44, he's got 6 goals to get between now and
in
like
11
the middle
games,
middle
or
of
12
April.
games. 12 games.
Yeah. I mean, I think he can manage that. I think he can manage to maybe get the Rocket Richard away from McKinnon. We'll see. But 50 for sure. I think he's a shoo-in to get 50. And I think Slavkovsky is pretty much assured to get 30.
Yes, he's at 28.
So, that's good. A 50-goal scorer, a 30-goal scorer, a 100-point player in potentially in Suzuki, and he was a point-a-game player until last night when he didn't score. But Hudson, he's just under a point a game now. Like, that's good offensive production right there.
And he could bounce back up to a point a game.
Yeah, and I mean, Demidov's now got 13 or 14, so he could
15. I think
he could get.
It was 15,
I don't think he's got. Well, but
he could be 20.
He could get 20, which in a rookie season, he's gonna be 60-point player in his rookie season. Pretty good. So there's nothing really to complain about offensively. They know how to put pucks in the net. And now that they're getting some competent goaltending,
their goal differential is really improving.
Yes,
and that's a key story. They're also able to come from behind because of that goaltending. So,
right, because like all the games we went to, Boston, Islanders, and when I went to last night,
and even Detroit,
we're all saying it's like, if Monty's playing this game, we're getting blown away. And it's true. Like, our goaltender, even though Fowler wasn't great on Saturday,
he made the saves.
He was great when he needed to be great, and he didn't let it get out of hand. And that's what Dobish didn't let it when he got down by 2. He didn't let it get to 3. And this is where Monty.
Sorry, my dog is driving me crazy because she's barking the whole time.
This is why Monty is no longer here, because he couldn't stop the bleeding.
So on that note, we have we want to remind you to like and subscribe, and we have been growing organically, and we appreciate the support. And there will be an episode on Saturday after the next 2 games. Sunday.
Yeah.
So again, like and subscribe, and that's all from us today.
Yeah, I'm on a bird tomorrow back to Edmonton, so back to our regularly scheduled podcasting on Sunday. So we'll see you then.
Cheers.
Bye for now.